Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching and please like and subscribe. Ethan stood alone in the central hall of the space station, the cold metal floor beneath his boots reflecting the dim lights above. Around him, humans whispered in quiet clusters, glancing nervously toward the shuttle bay. He ignored them. He had come here for a purpose, and nothing about the murmurs or stares would shake him. They say she's the ugliest alien they've ever sent. That one? No one wanted her. Who would? Ethan did not answer. Instead, he fixed his gaze on the entrance, waiting. The shuttle doors hissed open, and all eyes turned. The alien stepped out. She was unlike anything Ethan had seen, or anyone else, for that matter. Her skin had uneven patches of green and gray. Her limbs were slightly too long, her posture awkward. Her face carried scars and ridges that made most humans recoil in disgust. She moved with a cautious grace, but her presence was powerful. A collective gasp filled the hall. Whispers turned into judgment. She looks wrong. Did they send this to him on purpose? She'll be trouble, mark my words. Ethan, however, remained calm. He didn't flinch. His eyes met hers, and she paused. There was a flicker of recognition, almost disbelief. Her lips parted slightly, as if she wanted to speak but could not find the words. The alien woman's name was Lyra, though most had never spoken it aloud. Only Ethan knew her story. Flashbacks teased themselves in his mind. He remembered a barren, rocky planet where a young alien had been cornered by raiders. Without thinking, he had risked everything to save her. That day, he had promised himself he would find her again if the universe allowed it. Now, here she was, scarred, feared, and unclaimed, but unmistakably Lyra. The officials approached him cautiously. "Human," one of them said, voice stern, "this is your assigned partner. Will you accept her?" The hall grew silent. Ethan glanced around, noting the doubt, the fear, and the thinly veiled disgust in the faces of those present. Then he looked back at Lyra. "I will," he said calmly. A ripple of shock ran through the crowd. She didn't hesitate, one whispered. "Why would he accept her?" Another asked, suspicion heavy in her voice. Lyra's eyes widened. Ethan reached out a hand, and she took it, gripping it tightly. For a moment, the room seemed to vanish. They were alone, and nothing else mattered. As they began to leave, Lyra leaned slightly closer to him, her voice a soft whisper only he could hear. "Ethan, they will come for me. They always do. You must be ready." Ethan's lips curved into a faint smile. "I know," he replied. "And I'm always ready for you." The shuttle doors closed behind them, carrying them away from the cold stairs and into the shadows of the station's docking tunnels. Here, away from prying eyes, Lyra allowed herself a moment of vulnerability. "They called me ugly," she said quietly. "You're not ugly," Ethan replied. "You're special." Special. The word lingered between them. She had been hiding for years, forced into disguises and isolation because of her appearance. But Ethan saw the truth. Strength, intelligence, and courage, hidden beneath the scars and ridges that frightened others. The journey to the ship was tense. Shadowy figures moved in the corridors, glimpses of strange technology flashing under the dim lights. Lyra's instincts were sharp. She could sense danger where humans saw none. Ethan, too, was alert, scanning their surroundings, his mind calculating possibilities. Finally, they reached the ship, a sleek human vessel, unassuming yet fast, built for agility. Ethan gestured for Lyra to enter first. She stepped inside, her gaze scanning the cabin as if expecting an ambush. He noted every movement, every twitch of her muscles. She was cautious but not afraid. That was good. Once aboard, they took seats facing each other. Ethan began the engines, and the ship lifted off smoothly, gliding away from the station. Lyra relaxed slightly, though her eyes never stopped scanning the viewport. "Why did you never hesitate?" she asked, breaking the silence. Ethan leaned back, fingers laced behind his head. "Because I knew you," he said simply. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "You knew me?" He nodded. "I saved you once. A long time ago. And I promised I would find you again." Memories flooded her mind. Memories she had tried to bury. She remembered the chaos, the raiders, the fear, and then the human who had stood between her and certain death. At the time, she had not understood his actions, but now she saw the determination in his eyes, the unwavering confidence. "You've changed," she said softly. "So have you," he replied. The ship passed through the outer atmosphere of the station, slipping into the dark expanse of space. Silence settled between them, but it was a comfortable silence, charged with unspoken understanding. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped, low, urgent tones that Lyra immediately recognized. She turned to Ethan. "They are close," she whispered. "The hunters, they track me. Always." Ethan's expression remained calm, but his mind raced. Alien hunters were not uncommon, but these ones were different. Skilled, persistent, and merciless. He knew that this was only the beginning. "Then we'll deal with them," he said simply. Lyra studied him, searching for any sign of doubt. There was none. Her hand found his again, holding it tightly. "You don't understand. They won't stop until—" She hesitated, her voice barely audible. "They won't stop until they have me." Ethan nodded. "Then we'll make sure they never get the chance." The tension in the cabin was palpable. Outside, the stars streaked past as the ship accelerated into hyperspace. Lyra allowed herself to breathe, at least for a moment, but she knew this calm would not last. Somewhere in the galaxy, shadows moved, watching her, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And yet, with Ethan by her side, she felt a flicker of hope, a spark that maybe, just maybe, she was not alone in this dangerous universe. The first part of their journey was over, but the real trials were only beginning. Secrets, danger, and challenges awaited them. Ethan had accepted her without hesitation, but the galaxy would not be so forgiving. As the ship sped away, the camera of the viewer lingers on the distant station, on the crowd that still whispered, still doubted. And then, the focus shifts back to Ethan and Lyra, two figures united by fate, ready to face the unknown together. The last frame of part 1 lingers on Lyra's eyes, sharp, alert, and full of a dangerous secret. A warning, a promise, something that would change the galaxy forever. Cliffhanger. Who are these hunters? What secrets does Lyra carry? And why did Ethan recognize her when no one else did? The ship hummed quietly as it cut through the black expanse of space. Ethan's hands rested lightly on the controls, eyes scanning the readings, but his mind was focused on Lyra. She sat across from him, tense, her sharp eyes tracking every signal that flickered on the displays. "They're close," she said again, her voice low, almost a whisper. Her fingers traced invisible patterns on the console, a habit when she was thinking. "The hunters, they never give up. They've been following me for years." Ethan nodded. "Then we'll make sure they never catch us." His voice was calm, but the steel in it told Lyra he meant every word. A warning beep shattered the silence. The ship's sensors flared red. A fleet of small, fast vessels appeared on the scanner, sleek, aggressive, with markings Lyra recognized immediately. "They're here," she said, her voice tight with urgency. "They want me, and they won't stop for anything." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Then we stop them first." The ship's engines roared as Ethan maneuvered into a defensive position. The smaller alien craft darted around them, firing energy pulses that rattled the hull. Lyra's eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. Her hand hovered over the ship's control panel, though she didn't touch it yet. "They don't know I can fight back," she muttered. Ethan glanced at her. "Show me what you've got." Lyra's posture shifted, subtle but powerful. The scars and uneven features that had frightened others seemed to change, almost like a mask fading, revealing a predator underneath. She placed her hands on the ship's interface. Lights danced across her skin, strange symbols activating as the ship responded to her will. Energy surged around them, forming shields, weapons, and countermeasures that the alien hunters hadn't expected. Pulses bounced off their hull as Ethan guided the ship through evasive maneuvers. "Impressive," Ethan said with a faint smile. "I knew you were special, but this is something else." Lyra's eyes met his. "I had to hide it," she admitted. "If they knew my power, they would have hunted me down long ago." The battle raged on, the space around them alive with flashes of light and sudden bursts of energy. Ethan and Lyra moved as one, the human skill in piloting the ship perfectly complemented by the alien's abilities. Every move was calculated, precise, and devastating. One of the hunters' ships got too close. Lyra raised her hand, and a wave of energy shot out, disabling their engines instantly. The ship spun out of control, drifting helplessly into the void. Ethan didn't hesitate. He steered their ship past it, watching as the hunters regrouped. "They won't give up," Lyra said, her voice calm but filled with warning. "They'll send more." Ethan nodded. "Then we'll be ready." Hours passed as they navigated through asteroid fields, hiding their energy signature, and carefully choosing paths that would confuse the hunters. In the quiet moments between attacks, Ethan finally asked the question that had been burning in his mind. Why did they send you here? Why give you to me? Lyra's expression darkened. I was meant to be hidden. My people feared what I could become. Others feared it too. This assignment, this human, it was supposed to be temporary. But you recognized me, and that changed everything. Ethan leaned back. I promised once, years ago, that I would find you. I didn't care what anyone else thought. I still don't. Lyra studied him, searching his eyes for any hint of doubt. She found none. For the first time in years, she felt safe, completely, undeniably safe. Suddenly, a massive shadow appeared on the sensors, a mothership, enormous and menacing. The smaller hunters had been gathering reinforcements. This was no longer a skirmish, this was a full-scale assault. Ethan's hands gripped the controls. This ends now. Lyra nodded. She raised her hands again, her energy glowing brighter than ever. Symbols etched into the ship's hull began to shine, creating a shield that pulsed with power. The hunters fired relentlessly, but their attacks bounced harmlessly off the glowing barrier. With a deep breath, Lyra extended her energy outward. A wave surged across the space in front of them, knocking the enemy ships away like leaves in a storm. Explosions lit up the darkness as the mothership wavered, unable to anticipate her power. Ethan maneuvered closer, lining up the mothership in his sights. I'll distract them. You take control, he said. Lyra smiled faintly, her teeth sharp, almost feral. Gladly. Together, they executed a daring plan. Ethan flew close, drawing the enemy fire while Lyra unleashed her full power. Energy arcs lanced through the void, hitting the mothership's engines and critical systems. One by one, the smaller hunters were incapacitated, their ships drifting uselessly. Finally, silence fell. The mothership was crippled, and the remaining hunters retreated into the darkness. Lyra exhaled slowly, lowering her hands. The cabin was quiet except for the soft hum of the ship's engines. Ethan looked at her, awe and respect in his eyes. You're incredible, he said. Lyra's expression softened. You always knew, she said. Even when no one else did. Ethan reached across and took her hand. I don't need anyone else to understand. I just need you. For the first time in years, Lyra allowed herself to relax. The fear, the judgment, the endless running, it all felt like it had melted away, if only for a moment. She looked at Ethan, the human who had never hesitated, the one who had recognized her when everyone else had turned away. Then let's go home, Ethan said, his voice calm but full of determination. Lyra nodded, her eyes scanning the stars outside. Home, yes, but we must be ready. Others will come. The galaxy isn't done with me yet. Ethan smiled faintly. Let them come. We'll face them together. The ship accelerated, slipping into hyperspace. Outside, the stars stretched into lines of light, carrying them away from danger but not from destiny. They were a team now, human and alien, bonded by trust, respect, and a shared history. As they vanished into the dark expanse of space, the camera lingers on Lyra's eyes, alert, powerful, and full of secrets. And on Ethan's steady gaze, unwavering and brave. The galaxy was wide, filled with challenges, enemies, and wonders. But together, they could face anything. The first trials were over, but the adventure had only begun. A new chapter awaited, one that would test their bond, their courage, and the limits of what it meant to be human and alien, together. End.